Alien Earth hit the streaming world like a truck. Instead of recapping each episode like so many others are already doing, I will straight get to the point and talk about the characters of the show. Many people are of the opinion that Boy Kavalier is a badly written character and behaves in an inconsistent way. I will prove to you that the opposite is the case and give you my own observations and insights. You might be surprised what his first 3 words can already tell us about him. I will expose Boy Kavalier as a fraud, why his projected image is false, and how to tell that this is exactly the way the writers want it to be. After watching my video, he might become your favorite character, but you have to watch it all for it to make sense. This is the first time I use footage from something as current as this show, so I have to be careful about copyright. Please bear with me if I have to interject different footage so the video doesn't get flagged or taken down. With all of that out of the way, welcome my friends, Lars here, let's dive right in. To address the elephant in the room, the Peter Pan symbolism is a bit too on the nose for my taste and I will not spend much time analyzing it. But let's start off easy by looking at his introduction into the show. Then compile evidence that he is not a genius after all and that that's the writer's intent. At the start of the show, we get a little exposition. He's called Boy Kavalier. His company is named Prodigy, meaning child genius. It's one of the 5 that rules the Earth, so he rivals Weyland-Yutani. That's one hell of a big deal. But he seems casual about it. Dirty feet, weird clothes. I didn't even recognize it as pajamas at first, but okay, maybe those are his dress pajamas or something. He deals in synths and AI. That's an immediate red flag for the viewer. It's basically a rule that synths cannot be trusted. Maybe even a case of dramatic irony. You know, it's not alarming in universe, but the fans' ears will perk up. Cavalier, in one sense of the word, means a gentleman trained in arms and horsemanship, or just a gentleman. That's how I understand the term, but there's also a different meaning. Marked by or given to offhand and often disdainful dismissal of important matters. And oh boy, we will get back to that. Now, time for Reach. There's a thing in Alien where people are named after chess pieces like bishop or rook. Knight in French is called the Cavalier. Like I said, it's a Reach. I don't think he's an android or something, but kind of a cool fact. Let's move on to something more substantial. Oh, before I forget, before the crew of the Maginot goes back to hypersleep, there's this throwaway line.
Bedtime stories. No, I never knew.
That's what Boy Kavalier does. He reads bedtime stories to the Lost Boys. Our first clue that the writers think ahead. Remember the 3 words I mentioned in the beginning? Here they are.
Okay. Welcome in. Mushy mushy.
Willkommen? I thought I misheard the first time. That's German. This alone isn't necessarily significant, but given the context that we are already suspicious of him at this point, come on. Call it a cliché if you want to, but we all know the implications of someone speaking German.
No one who speaks German could be an evil man.
The next 2 words are Japanese. It's a greeting, but it is meant to be said when you talk to someone on the phone. 2 things. It could symbolize a distance between Boy Kavalier and the people he is talking to, but it might also be a hint for something else. He uses a different language to sound smart and like a globetrotter, to show off, but he uses it wrong. Maybe you reach at this point, but let's keep it in mind. Not the only time he says something that is verifiably wrong. We'll get back to that. He also exhibits traits of a show-off when presenting his magic trick to Wendy, just to underline my earlier point. And let's not leave out the fact that his first words are German and Japanese. German and Japanese. Make of that what you will. Now for some positive traits. He's curious. I like that in a person.
Others ground to break. New life forms.
Boy Kavalier is an optimist. When speaking to his advisor, we get this nugget.
If one of those ever escapes.
It's glass half full, kid. Yeah?
Now the saying glass half full. Just kidding, you get it. In the scene where he signs off on sending in the Lost Boys, He trusts Kirk to protect them.
Still in the prototype stage, the loss of a single unit would be devastating.
Yeah, so don't lose one. You'll watch them?
I'd call it optimistic, but we are also getting into reckless territory now. This is the part where a chunk of the audience takes offense. How can a trillionaire be so careless? Well, how many trillionaires do you know? But to stay in universe, this action is grounded in several character traits and in his central motivation. I'll elaborate. We got the optimism, of course, as I already explained. But to get back to the meaning of his name, he dismisses the warnings of the people around him. We can clearly see that in the scene. He isn't worried the slightest about containing the alien species in the quarantine lab.
These are very
Oh,
dangerous.
please. We have a high quarantine lab in the sublevels.
And to give further proof, just watch this.
But it's about becoming, teaching them to be their best selves.
He doesn't give a shit about the children. They are toys. They are a way to achieve something. Look at the way he talks to Wendy before the transition.
Do you know who Neil Armstrong was? You're very special.
No, he doesn't believe that she's inherently special. He believes that she is a means to reach his goals. She isn't taking the leap, she is the leap. To him at least. He dehumanizes Wendy in such an obvious way.
Look at her face. Her body language. I mean, if I didn't know better, I'd say she was human.
I guess it's clear to everyone that the Lost Boys are not really people to him, but investments. More on this just a little later. What also struck me as dismissive was the way he handled Yutani's claim to the downed research vessel.
And I don't have to remind you that any incursion on a Prodigy territory will be construed as a hostile act.
He may or may not be in the right, legally speaking, but angering Yutani cannot be a prudent decision, and I feel like he may live to regret it. He doesn't even take it seriously, easy to see in the way he behaves during the call. This cavalier attitude shows in the way he talks to the people around him.
We've taken her offline. We think she can hear.
The Xenomorph, yeah, just assume I'm ahead of you, always.
And this is coming after the embarrassment of this scene.
What just happened?
She rewrote the code somehow.
Did we know? Did we give her that skill?
As soon as something actually happens when he is around, he's clueless. He just pays people to do science. Remind you of anyone from our world? I admit that he must have had some kind of groundbreaking idea at one point, probably when he was a child with
Access to a world of infinite imagination.
But his hubris is undeniable at this point. Just look at the conversation with Sylvia. We get a glimpse at his motivations. Oh, we will get back to that.
You're talking about achievement, but it's about becoming.
And there she is, offering a deep conversation about the human condition and what their actual goals are, or what they are supposed to be. And he babbles on about how there's nobody he can have an interesting conversation with. He oozes with hubris. I mean, look at him. He looks like a doofus with that piece of an apple almost falling out of his mouth. I cannot ignore the image we are presented here. I think a true genius would be bored by him.
Maybe.
The most compelling evidence that this is how we are supposed to read the character is found at the beginning of the 4th episode. I bet many of you already know.
Asimov said above a certain level, technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Just for the record, it's not from Asimov. It's from Arthur C. Clarke's 3 Rules of Prediction or something. Asimov is the one with the rules of robotics, you know? Out of context, you might be able to convince me that the writers made a mistake. But with all this other evidence, come on. He tries to sound smart and makes mistakes while doing it. The writers make it more clear from episode to episode. Let's finally talk about the money. Getting rich off one idea doesn't make you a genius. It just makes you rich. The fact that he isn't at the forefront of development shows that he's just the CEO of a big company. One of the 5 biggest in the world, sure, but that just makes him richer, not smarter. And you know what? I bet he's actually pretty good at what he does. So many people find it illogical that he would risk this investment. CEOs, company founders, and businessmen don't become successful by not taking risks. It's the opposite. There's something to be said about the common bias that rich people must be smart and deserve their wealth just because of the fact that they are rich in the first place. By the way, I'm going to make a separate video estimating his wealth and his company's market cap and cash flow. Spoilers, I bet even trillions of losses wouldn't bankrupt him, not even close. This guy is basically 3 big countries in a trench coat, or pajamas. Back to the risk-taking. People don't get to rule over a significant chunk of the earth by being cautious. He's reckless, as everyone else in the show keeps pointing out. Move fast and break things used to be Mark Zuckerberg's motto. When I think about it, that kind of fits. Zuckerberg is incredibly rich, not because he's the best coder ever or something, but because he had the right idea at the right time and the business sense to exploit it. Sylvia makes this exact point in episode 4, and she's right. I'm not sure in what area he is so far ahead, except for the hybrids, of course. But it just makes sense. And remember, even if it's hubris talking,
It's not about money.
if the hybrids break, as I'm sure he would call it, they'll build new ones. He cannot be asked to care about that. And this is perfectly consistent with what we are shown about his character. Don't try to tell me he wouldn't risk the money. He would. He absolutely would. And he did. Another observation that I'm not completely sure about. We established that he's dismissive of other people, and Wendy's brother is of course no exception.
Enough. Oh, the brother's having a feeling.
And it could be just that. But what if there's more to it? Wendy is his favorite, we know that. He says that, it's no secret.
She's my favorite because she was first.
But who's Wendy's favorite? Right, her brother, not him. Is he intimidated or feel threatened by it? He lets her go on a rescue mission, well knowing that she's gonna look for him, but in that moment, his curiosity may override such feelings. But look at the way he acts when they actually meet.
He did what? Hi. We haven't met. You work for me, or should I say you work for a subsidiary of a...
He stutters a little. Does that sound like the confident genius he wants everyone to think he is? No. He's insecure because of the strong bond those siblings share. Do you think it's a reach? Let me know. So do you see how Boy Kavalier is an insecure little boy who tried to build himself friends and wants to play with them? A little boy that is just smarter than most people he met in his life and just assumes that he's smarter than everyone else? Well, this is my interpretation. Thanks for... Oh, the Peter Pan stuff. Yeah, he's a child who doesn't have to grow up because of his wealth. His island is called Neverland. He reads Peter Pan to the Lost Boys. Yeah. Please enlighten me if there's a deeper level to this. I really don't have the time to read up on freaking Peter Pan right now. This is my interpretation. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and see you next time.